Personally, I get huge eczema flare-ups when I eat certain types of food, and usually high histamine ones are one type of food that does it. Also, high carb foods or any types of carbohydrates at this point seem to cause problems as well. And in carnivore foods, there were a couple of traps that I fell into with the histamines, and I wanted to talk about them because I think probably a fair amount of people's eczema is caused by histamines, a lot more than we think anyway. So this might help some people out there anyway. So when I first started carnivore, I mainly focused on whole cuts of beef and ground beef as well. But I was finding I was reacting after the ground beef, and it made no sense because the whole cuts of beef, there was no reaction to at all. It's probably the least reactive food that I eat. And with the ground beef, I found out somewhere, I was on a video somewhere, someone was talking about how the histamine content does increase because of the surface area of the ground beef is increased. And I think personally that the ground beef is probably a lot more aged, or it's a lot more time from obviously the cow to when you buy it than the whole cuts. So just a hell of a lot more histamine content in it for whatever reason. So I definitely need to avoid ground beef. The other one was there are foods that I react to, carnivore foods, that aren't actually high histamine. But what I found out is there are certain foods that are called Histamine Liberators. So what that means is, rather than putting histamine into your body exogenously, they cause histamine to be released from the body and can cause a reaction anyway. So that was things like dairy was the biggest one for me. So cheese causes a massive flare-up. Butter, I'm not 100% sure about. I need to keep testing it a bit. And obviously any other milk products with milk proteins and casein and lactose and stuff. So they cause a big flare-up for me. As well as, I'm pretty sure, eggs. So raw, if I eat 1 or 2 raw eggs, it seems fine. But any cooked eggs of any great quantity, of probably 3 or more, same sort of thing. And I don't believe there's a high amount of histamine in eggs. But again, I think they act as histamine liberators in the body. And yeah, I think that was it in carnivore foods anyway. That was about it. So basically, I personally need to focus on whole cuts of beef. Things like bacon, of course, bacon is naturally, to make bacon, they need to age it and add all this stuff. So that causes a problem for me and probably a lot of other people. It would be naturally high histamine as well. Thanks for listening, guys.